So, hello again, everybody. It is another week of Jonnychipz Weekly. It is a Friday. It's actually Friday, the 5th of November, 2021. This is episode number 45. My name is John Lunn, aka Jonnychipz. Let's jump on in with the book of news. Happy Friday, everybody. We've made it to the end of another week. Well, it's lunchtime here in the UK, and it's time for this episode of Jonnychipz Weekly. But wherever you are across the world, hope you're having a fantastic week. And yes, happy Friday. Okay, so this week's episode I call Book of News. Obviously, we've had Ignite this week, Microsoft Ignite. So we're going to take a little look through that Book of News, really focused on the Azure news and updates. We've had so many this week. I'm not going to negate the other sections of the show, though. So we're going to do some community call-outs. Going to take a look at the Welsh Azure user group, what we've got on coming up, and of course, little bits and pieces of what I've been up to on the side. So, without further ado, I think we'll jump straight on into the. We'll do community call outs. We'll do the Welsh Azure and Jonnychipz on the side, and then we'll focus. We'll spend a bit of time on the Book of News because there have been such a plethora of announcements this week from Ignite. So, yeah, let's jump straight on in. Okay, community call-outs this week then. So yeah, I got a few. So just starting off first and foremost, like I just mentioned, we've had Microsoft Ignite this week. If you haven't signed up for one of the Cloud Skills challenges, you can get yourself some free Microsoft exam vouchers. So I believe they've got 12 different challenges available, covering the plethora of Microsoft cloud platforms from Teams through to Azure, being the database admin challenge, desktop and device management, Windows Hybrid, Dynamics, so Power Platform security. So go and pick a topic of your choice. Now there's they basically link to Microsoft Learn modules, so you can kind of sign up for the challenge. We've still got to the end of the month to complete these, so effectively you've got just over 3 weeks now to go through these Learn modules, and you'll see. Actually, if I'm signed in there, so if I were to kind of click on, I think I quickly signed up to the Azure Admin Challenge one, but you'll see, I mean, I've done just under half. We can click on Continue Learning, and we'll get access to all the different modules that we're expected to run through to complete the Cloud Skills Challenge. So you can see there's a whole bunch of new modules in there that I've not even looked at, so I think it's a case of running through these, get them all completed, and yeah, be up for a free exam voucher at the end of it. So go and check those out. If you just Google Microsoft Ignite Cloud Skills Challenge, you should be able to find that there. So go and get involved. In other news, the virtual desktop community, as it's now been rebranded, had their monthly meetup last night. It was great. I managed to catch about half of it. I managed to catch as Christian Brinkoff was talking to us about Cloud PC, which was fantastic talk. And then Sander was on talking about Terraform and how to kind of deploy AVD using Terraform and Terraform Cloud for that matter. So great to see. They've just released their latest community newsletter, which they've rebranded effectively from we know that WVD changed to AVD, and as Neil has put in the newsletter here, they're looking at covering more than just the Microsoft elements of virtual desktop. So congratulations, looking very slick. So go and sign up. If you are not following the virtual desktops community, I suggest you probably want to go and do that, because you can see by the quality of the newsletters, there's just they're packed full of information, latest goings on in that community, some great links to additional resources across the community. So go and get signed up. Head on over to virtualdesktops.community. So yeah, huge thanks to that. Okay, just I thought I'd throw this one in here again. So 10 days time, Pete, Cliff, Jose, myself, Maria Anastasia, Sander, Garcia, Jürgen, and Sarah, we're going to be departing on this adventure of a flight into IoT. So it's a tech day event. It's about 2.5 hours long on the 15th. Come and join us. It's going to be super fun. I mean, I've started doing a bit of prep work for it with the team. We're going to meet up and go through some of that. But it's really, really fun, exciting, interesting, and hopefully lots of people will get a lot from it. So go and get yourself registered on that if you haven't already. That'd be cool. And like I say, Cliff has been retweeting it. Did a little TikTok. Yeah, go and follow me on TikTok if you want a bit of a laugh. So yeah, we've just been kind of broadcasting that and publicising that. So yeah, if you can join us, I think we've got, at last count, I think Pete said we've got over 600 people signed up. So that's going to be really fun, interesting, interactive event with a bit of luck. So yeah, go and check that out. Moving on, managed to catch this the other night as well, which was fantastic. I didn't actually catch the PowerShell teams, the session they did for Ignite, but April Edwards set up an after show party. Effectively, jumped on StreamYard with the prolific people in the Microsoft PowerShell community. So you can see you've got some heavy hitters there in this particular meetup, and I was glued. Literally, I think it started about 11 o'clock the other night and went right the way through. I think it finished about 1 a.m. But it was such a great set of insights from the team that have developed PowerShell. Obviously, you've got Jeff Snover and Jason on there. That all these people that have been involved with PowerShell basically since its inception. Really interesting to hear some of those insights. Managed to put a few questions to them. So, people like, you can see Jeff Hicks is speaking there. You can rewatch this, by the way. Head on over to April's Twitter feed and the link is there. It's on the Devops Lab YouTube channel. But, we were able to put some question. I think I put a question to the team, what was the most, cool or quirky thing that you've seen done with PowerShell? And Jeff mentioned one about using PowerShell to do PS remoting, and he, so subsequently put this link up to something that he did. So I'm basically, it reinvigorated my own kind of interest in PowerShell. Like PowerShell, I dealt with Exchange back in 2007 when it first released. So done a bit over the years. Really not a PowerShell developer or anything like that, but it reinvigorated my thought. Right, okay, I'm going to. I think I need to focus a little bit more on PowerShell and refresh my knowledge. So yeah, go and check that out. Really, really engaging after show event. Some great insights, great information in there. Fantastic people across community and in Microsoft there that gave up their time to talk on that. So yeah, go and check that out. And thanks to April for organising. It was fantastic. Okie dokie. So moving on. Yes, Jack Tracy. I think I mentioned this the other week, but this is an area close to my heart. I've used this platform that Jack has been part of the development of for enterprise scale, so deploying those enterprise scale landing zone environments with your management groups and your various landing zone elements. They're after some feedback. So if you can jump over, if you are using this or you've got customers that are using this particular deployment methodology from Jack and the team, they are after some feedback. So if you can jump on over to the surveymonkey.com/r/ESLZ, fill in the questionnaire. There's a whole bunch of questions. Obviously, it's just about how the team move forward with the enterprise scale landing zone. Git repo. Effectively, it's a fantastic automated way of deploying all of that kind of initial upfront landing zone and configuration thereof. So that's only going to get better and feature rich over time. So yeah, if you are using it, Jack has got a call to action to go and fill that form, and if you can, that'd be great. Yes, and sticking with that theme, James Cook retweeted this the other night, which I've not had a chance to read into in any great detail, but it just caught my eye because, I know things like this have been around for a little while in terms of, visualizing your Terraform plans. If you do use Terraform and you make changes to that Terraform that will initially, do some changes to your back end, whether that be, Azure infrastructure or anything else, you can run the plan. It'll tell you what's going to change, what's not going to change, what potentially you're going to break, that kind of stuff. But yeah, there's this Rover Terraform visualizer now. So like I say, it's really cool. You can see, it's difficult to tell, I guess, but anything that's green is going to be created. Anything that's red is going to be destroyed. Blue is going to be updated. Other items, variable names, output. So it's, quite a cool thing, and it's something that I think I need to look into a little bit more and get up and running to to try and use some of this. But it's great to see, and obviously from a documentation purpose, if you are looking to capture that visual version of your Terraform plan, of course you can keep your plans, but they're obviously in a text format that Terraform kind of outputs to the terminal. It's a great way to kind of visualize at a glance and really drill into what's going on with that particular change that you're making. So yeah, thanks to James for sharing that. I'm going to take a little bit more of a look at it. Moving on. Yes, George. So thanks, George, for giving us a quick update with the Microsoft certification calendar. So this is updated November. I'm not going to zoom in, but if you go to aka.ms/train cert poster, you'll see the latest announcements, the latest versions of all the certification across the Microsoft platform. So go and check that out. Yes, and thanks to George for sharing that for us. Okay, in other news, yes, I'm calling out Pete's tweet here again. Well, not only because I need to call Pete out in every one of my episodes, but Raspberry Pi released the Raspberry Pi Zero 2 last week, and Pete, as you may or may not know, developed a bit of a script to go and deploy .NET onto Raspberry Pi. So he uses script, just confirmed that his script that he's written, you can install .NET 5 directly onto Raspberry Pi Zero 2. So he just retweeted that. So thanks for that. If you want to get hold of that script, reach out to Pete or browse on over to Pete's blog. Follow him on Pete_codes. And I know he's got that there for you to download news because I've used it myself. So cool to see that it works on the new Raspberry Pi Zero 2 as well. So yeah, thanks for that, Pete. Superb. Yes, festive tech calendar. Managed to get a submission in. Really looking forward to the submission. I'm actually looking to record that next week. If you caught my tweets, you may see who it's going to be with, but I'm going to keep that stum until it actually gets released. I'm hoping it's going to be a fun event. Really looking forward to it. I believe the guys have shut the submissions down. I think it was. I think the entries were at the end of October, and you can see there that the submissions for the actual event itself, we've got to get in by the end of November, effectively. But I'm sure if you've got something compelling, reach out to the guys. But I believe they've shut that down now for submissions, and they smashed their numbers and targets. So really looking forward to that event. Stick it in the calendar. It's through the entire month of December. There's going to be community content released pretty much on every day. So yeah, going to be a really interesting month and fun month. So stay tuned for that. Yes, some more certification news. Richard Hooper called this out. Obviously, we knew that there was the announcement not long ago that they were deprecating the AZ 303 and 304 exams, which is that architecture, that expert exam badge that you could get with Azure, and moving it in favor of a single AZ 305 exam. As Richard has called out, that's going beta in a week or so's time now, November the 16th. So if it is something that you want to sign up for, go and sign up for it, get involved, go and do that exam. But yeah, it's cool that they moved that architecture, that expert level, a 3-star exam from 2 exams down to 1 now. So yeah, thanks for tweeting that out. 16th of November, it goes into beta. And in other cert news, Jürgen's been keeping his GitHub repo, all the exams up to date. Go and browse on over. It's a really cool thing, and I know Jürgen tweets this out every now and again, and I take a quick glance because it's great to kind of keep on top. If you are preparing for any exams at the moment, then you'll probably know that every exam's got a skills measured. You can drill down into that and get a spreadsheet of effectively all the different areas of the exam and the kind of things that you're going to be measured and the exam questions are going to be related to. So of course, if you're studying for an exam, you just got to be careful that Microsoft don't go and pull the rug and change the exam, add more subject topics in, or take things out. So Jürgen has got this GitHub repo set up that he's basically picking up any updates to exams, which are really cool. So if you are looking to, for example, go and sit the AVD exam, the AZ140, well, just bear in mind that the exam is going to be updated on the 22nd of November. So, of course, browse on over. You can go to that exam, look at the updates. They'll list them there, and sometimes they're very minor. Other times, exams can have quite major changes dependent on the nature of that particular technical product. So, Thanks so much again for Jürgen, and yeah, go and follow that. Go and star and watch that repo, because it's great that Jürgen's keeping us all up to date on that. It's a great little idea there. So go and check that out if you are studying for exams. And finally, yeah, congratulations to the Cloud family. The Cloud family is had its Twitter anniversary. I remember, not long after I started getting involved in community, that the Cloud family Twitter feed came, the website was there. Yeah, congratulations to the guys running that, which, I think is predominantly Gregor and Richard, but just thought I'd give them a shout out because I saw you tweeted this out the other day. So there we go. So yes, some great community call outs for this week. Thanks everybody for getting involved and sharing all the great information that you share. So on that note, I think what we'll do, we'll quickly browse on over. Quick update on the Welsh Azure user group. Okie doke. So yes, as per usual, we've got a virtual event every month. We're trying to do the in-person event every 3 months. Quick news update. Unfortunately, we were aiming for December to have our next in-person event. We've had a bit of a collective chat amongst the group due to lots of reasons. COVID being one of them, availability of venues being another. The fact that it's just before Christmas, the fact that everybody seems to be maxed out. At the moment, truly maxed out beyond belief, to be honest. And I think I've been alluding to this over the last few weeks that personally, there's a lot going on. It's good stuff, but it's very busy. So for a whole string of reasons, we had a chat the other day and decided, right, we're going to keep the December event virtual. So I think we're going to look at the in-person event then into the new year, probably March time, I'd imagine. We'll go to the next quarter. It just gives us a little bit more time, I think. I think everybody needs a little bit of a breather. We're coming out of this digital kind of burnout almost, but the point is the virtual events are running great. We're getting some really good attendance, and we're trying to weigh up the pros and cons with the complexities and effort that goes into setting up the in-person events to make them a hybrid is not to be sniffed at. There's a lot that goes on. I was lucky at the last event. I had good friend Dean Ellaby come down and help me out, but there's a lot that goes on. So anyway, long and short of it, we're going to be virtual for at least the next 4 or 5 months. So with that being said, this month's event is on the 17th of November. So if you haven't RSVP'd, please do go and sign up. We've got Mark Allen on to talk about real world Azure static web apps, and we got David O'Brien on to talk about building a cloud security SaaS application using Azure. So 2 really cool topics, and I spoke with Mark in the past before. He's a great guy in the community, doing some fantastic stuff in serverless technologies and static web apps. So really looking forward to chatting with Mark again at that event. 17th, just under 2 weeks time. And yeah, David, I've seen some of David's talks. I know that he's been out there doing other talks, and he's brilliant. So really looking forward to having those 2 guys on the next meetup. And as always, there's always prizes. There's a quiz. If you haven't seen our quiz, now Matt Fatunka has become a dab hand at them. Absolutely brilliant. Really looking for it. It's a part of the evening, to be honest. So come and get involved, and you get a chance to win some prizes as well. So like I say, jump on over, click on follow me, follow at Welsh Azure on Twitter. There's links everywhere. You can't really miss it. I'm quite prevalent in tweeting those out. So go and click on the link and RSVP. So it's on Meetup, RSVP. You'll get the link to the Teams meeting, and obviously join us on the evening. We'll look forward to seeing you there. Equally, if you do want to speak, we've still got our Session Eyes open call for speakers page. So it's sessioneyes.com/Welsh Azure User Group CFS with hyphens between each word, as you can maybe just about make out there. But I'll retweet this out. So go and follow me or at the Welsh Azure Twitter and get a link. If you do want to speak, we are looking for speakers at the moment. You can fill in the Session Eyes page, and I'll be in touch. Like I say, we've got 4 or 5 months worth of virtual events coming up now. I know we're pretty much there or thereabouts for the December event now. That will be a virtual event, but go and check that out and submit something through to us. That'd be cool. And finally, if you have missed any of our events, they're all recorded. They're all in the YouTube channel below. There's a playlist down there, and you can go and check that out. They're all time-coded. If you click on each video, you'll see the speakers, the time of their talk, and obviously the topic title, things like that. So, it's building up to be a brilliant catalogue of really, great information in there. So please do go and check that out. Yeah, that'll do for the Welsh Azure user group. Okie dokie. So I think what we will do quickly, we'll browse on over to do the Jonnychipz on the side. Section of the show. Let's jump on over quickly and do that, and then we'll get on to the Azure, the Microsoft Ignite Book of News. Okay, so yes, a few bits and pieces going on again on the side for me this week. So first and foremost, as it's Friday, there's another episode of In Conversation with being launched tonight. Like I say, we're coming up to the year mark now with those shows. Got everybody sorted now for November. Looking to fill in a few last talks of December before I change that up or do something different for the new year. But anyway. First and foremost, huge thanks to my guest last week, Isadora. Brilliant to finally have a chat with you, Izzy. Thanks for coming on the show and imparting some fantastic things that you've been up to in the community and really what it means to you. So if you did miss that episode, please do go check it out. Again, it's in the YouTube playlist below, the In Conversation with playlist. Really insightful, fun chat, and great, like I say, great to finally say hello properly to Izzy there. So huge thanks to Izzy for being on my guest last week. Like I say, new show tonight, and it's none other than with Mr. Derek Smith. So yeah, Derek is a great advocate in the community, and he's doing some fantastic things himself. So we talk predominantly around sort of cloud adoption, enterprise scale. We get a little bit technical in areas, but we try and keep it a little bit sort of practical and pragmatic in terms of what the technology is doing. How does Derek kind of engage with his customers? What are the kind of trends and things like that he's seeing in the customer base that he deals with? So if you are interested, come along tonight, 6:30. It'll be across all the social media. So it's going out across Azure Live, Twitter, Twitch, my Twitch, YouTube, obviously, and LinkedIn and Twitter. So if you're around, come in, jump on, say hello, join in the fun, and chat in the chat window. But that's later tonight, 6:30, so looking forward to that one. In other news, yes, I got accepted onto the GitHub Copilot technical preview, so really looking forward. I've not set it up yet, and this was the other day, and I've just been so busy. But yeah, this is GitHub Copilot, the AI pair programmer from GitHub, so looking forward to getting that set up now and having a little play. Hopefully it'll make me a prolific programmer. And in other news, my boiler broke this week. Of course it broke this week, just before winter. So I've been freezing in the house. Hopefully it's going to be fixed today. Fingers crossed. So there we go. Anyway. That's Jonnychipz on the side. So yes, like I say, without further ado now, you got a quick glimpse of it there. Let's crack on with the book of news and what's been going on this week. Rather than doing the Azure news and update section, we'll just run through the book of news as best that we can. Let's go and have a look at it. So yes, for those of you that don't know, Microsoft events, Microsoft Ignite specifically this week has been going on in a virtual capacity. Typically on the first day of the event, Microsoft will release all the news that has been going on or that will be announced over the course of the 2 or 3 day event that they've got going on. This November's Microsoft Ignite virtual event was no different. The book of news came out on day one. So I think what we'll do is we'll have a look. I mean, you know that I normally browse on over, excuse me, a little bit of a tickly in the cough. I normally browse over to the Azure News and Updates section, and we've got so many. Like I'm on page 4 there, and there's about 20 per page. We're looking, I mean, and they've not stopped, so that's still going back to second. So there we go. There's like 5 pages. There's lots of updates, and they're all specifically Azure related. So if we look at the book of news, table of contents, you can see that they really break down those announcements by the technical capability or the technical area of the Microsoft Cloud Platform. So, we're not going to dwell too much on, I mean, obviously with Azure, there's a lot of announcements relevant in the security compliance and the identity management space. I mean, it's fair to say that technical area, those kind of capabilities span across near enough for all the other areas of Microsoft Cloud Platform. So security, compliance, identity management spans across the whole thing. For now, I'm going to ignore that. Power Platform, there's been some fantastic announcements in Power Platform. Edge is available on Linux now. Did we know? There we go. There's some more there. And new experience to simplify transition to Internet Explorer before the retirement. And so on and so forth. Microsoft 365 and Windows, some great announcements around Office, Teams, Viva. There was a cool one around Loop. Go and check that out. That looks really clever and great what the team have done there. Obviously, Windows 365, so the Windows PC, there's lots of rebranding information. I know they've changed the name of the Defender product range now. It's all gone a bit, okay. I need to read it a bit more. So the usual thing, there's rebrands going on, great announcements across the plethora of features, technical features. Industry cloud, so all the industry cloud, the financial services, manufacturing, non-profit, healthcare, they've all had some updates. Dynamics 365. So you can see all the stuff that I'm kind of skipping over really quickly. There's a lot of information. So if you are, looking for that information, go and check that out. What I'm going to do, I'm going to focus a little bit more. You can see that Azure is so top heavy with the announcements here. We've got kind of 10 categories of Azure announcements. I think what we'll do is we'll go through each category now quickly. I don't want to make this video any longer than it needs to be, but bottom line is there's been some really great announcements throughout this event. So, just starting off then. So let's kind of click through them. Azure AI, Cognitive Services supports more languages now. So we can kind of click on that and see the search capability has added support for more than 50 new languages now in Azure Cognitive Services, which is great. That's only going to get better. It's going to get more refined, more feature rich. So it's great to see that's where we are now. So also we've got Cognitive Services offers a preview of the OpenAI service. So there's more information about it there. Now, not being a developer myself, I'm not going to drill into that in any great detail at the moment. But bottom line is to kind of bring in those cognitive services capabilities into applications. You do it via SDKs or endpoints within Azure that you set up a cognitive services account. Bottom line is there's some great announcements. Go and check them out. Azure Data. So let's flick on over to the data now. So Cosmos DB introduces developer-friendly features. Synapse Analytics announces updates, features, and enhancements. Flexible server deployment option for Azure databases, MySQL and Azure database for Postgres. It's gone generally available. New investments in Azure SQL boost performance and security, and SQL 2022 is in preview. So, from a data perspective, if you are into data, you can see we've had some 4 or 5 great announcements over Ignite now around SQL and other database technologies within Azure. So go and check those out. Moving on to the dev and ecosystem. So, wow, you can see that there's a whole bunch and wide-ranging kind of updates here. So, I mean, just to pick on one or two, one of the more prolific ones that I saw come out of the announcements was this Azure Container Apps has now gone into preview. So, a fully managed serverless container service built for microservices that scales dynamically based on HTTP traffic. So events or long-running background jobs. It's now gone into preview. So users can now build and develop modern apps using their favorite programming language or framework and deploy those containerized apps to a fully managed serverless container service without needing to manage complex infrastructure. Applications run on open source technology, including full support for DAPA, which is the Distributed Application Runtime, which I believe has now been brought into that Cloud Native Foundation. Arena, which is great to see. So using DAPA, they can fully scale dynamically based on that traffic that's coming through to kind of scale horizontally to service the traffic or specific events, kind of looking at things like Kubernetes event-driven auto-scaling to do that. But you can see, I mean, that was like the overview. I mean, if we have a quick look at, learning more about this particular update, there's a whole blog article there from Daria that was put out, 2 or 3 days ago, looking at really digging into it, into a bit more detail. But this is how you can find the information out and run through these examples, take a look at it, because, this let's face it, this is the way that we're going now over time. So really trying to get in early doors with some of these technologies as they get announced is probably not a bad thing. Other things, let me just quickly scan down there. So, I mean, they're all great announcements, but I'm just trying to think of something that we can jump into. Updates and enhancements to Azure Devops. I've not actually read this one yet, so we can see actually what have we got. So developers can secure their deployments to Azure through OpenID connection integration. Well, that's cool. There's a DevOps workflow generator tool. So it's designed to help customers visualize their entire DevOps toolchain and find ways to improve it. So it's a free tool. It's valuable to any organization or developer seeking to understand their own DevOps processes and how to increase efficiency. So when the tool has gained significant traction, reports showing the latest trends and developments will be published. That's pretty cool. So that's the Dev and ecosystem. If we scan into some Azure hybrid announcements, so feature update and new tools for IT pros in Azure Stack Hdi. So there's some new Azure Arc releases. There's some new AVD features, including supports for Azure Stack Hdi. Yeah, so for those of you that don't know, Azure Stack Hdi is effectively that on-prem, that private data center, hyper-converged infrastructure that kind of sits in your own private data center. It's cool to see that there's the announcement that's been released now is that if you want to run AVD and you want to run that virtual desktop environment, but you've got some, whatever it may be, maybe there's some latency issues, some compliance or sovereignty issues, that you can't run that in one of the regions that it's supported in the public cloud. Using HCI, you can actually run it on-prem. Obviously there's a cost associated with that in terms of buying kit and getting it installed and set up and configured. But the point is the technical capability is there and it's being supported by Microsoft. So that's a really cool thing to see. And dare I say, this is the start of us kind of seeing that hybrid conversation a lot more with customers. Obviously, we have it quite a lot at the moment, but certainly with the advent of Stack, the Stack range of products, and of course Azure Arc, we're starting to see now that management. So that management and monitoring platform, that pane that sits in Azure, can be utilized across the Azure resources as well as your on-prem. So that's cool to see. So new updates and enhancements for Windows Server on Azure. So we've got Azure Auto Manage allows IT admins and DevOps pros to simplify and optimize IT management with automated operations. I believe under the hood that's using things like DSC. I think DSC is being kind of targeted and worked on for specifically using it within things like Azure Auto Manage. So Azure Auto Manage machine best practices support Windows Server, Linux virtual machines on Azure, and Arc-enabled servers have the following new capabilities. So custom configuration profiles to both Windows and Linux VMs is in preview. Select from a list of Azure services such as Backup, Security Center, and you can apply those to the VMs. And as we just said there, so support of Azure Arc-enabled server VMs, including Stack Hdi, that's in preview. So apply auto managed service to both Linux and Windows VMs on any Arc-enabled server. So you can see there's a whole bunch of other updates there in the hybrid space, which is fantastic to see. Infra. Yeah, few updates for infra. Things like new Azure virtual machine scale sets. So you can kind of do things now. I did catch a few of these announcements throughout Ignite, but things like changing VM sizes without having to redeploy that scale set. So yeah, effectively resulting in that greater operational agility if you need to change those things around, or you've got a bunch of machines sat in a scale set and you think, well, it'd probably be best if I can kind of beef those VMs up a little bit more rather than scaling out kind of horizontally, increase the size vertically. You can do that without having to break that scale set apart and redeploy it, which is cool. Mix spot virtual machines and pay-as-you-go VMs within the same scale set to optimize costs. Cool initiative and cool to see that kind of stuff going on. We can spread instances across fault domains automatically or specify a fault domain to ensure high availability. Cool. Automatically increase or decrease VMs in a scale set based on metrics, schedule, or AI predictions. That's interesting. So manage VMs and scale sets using the same API. So, that's just picking on the first announcement on the infrastructure side. But then we've got What else we got in there? Several updates for enhanced support and capabilities with Azure Monitor. Updates to Azure Disk Storage now generally available. Dispersing allows customers to increase their performance above the provisioned limit and is most suitable for mission-critical workloads. So yeah, bursty, burstable disks now. You can see the IOs that it supports have increased, and an increased level of throughput. Effectively, it's just all about increasing that performance of your workloads that you've got running in Azure. So let's see. Virtual Machine Selector helps customers find the right virtual machine. That's an interesting one. I didn't spot that one there. So there's some articles there about it. So yeah, go and check that out. I'm not going to dig into it too much, just for the sake of time. Okay, what have we got going on then? So Infra IoT. So yeah, I mean, this is an interesting one in terms of IoT Signals explores the current state and the future plans using IoT. I mean, it's like for those of you that know me, you'll know that I've been following IoT for a little while now, and self-learning a lot of the stuff that's going on, and kind of getting up to speed with it. So when you get these kind of announcements, the Signals report, it's going to be it's summarized there essentially. It's been 5 trends transforming. So there's going to be some key things like 90% of organizations are adopting IoT. COVID continues to accelerate IoT across industries. So reducing technical complexity helps speed IoT time to market. And IoT security is a major priority, obvious, unsurprisingly. The vast majority of IoT adopters integrate emerging technologies, which is cool because, I mean, what that tells me is that all these great initiatives and these great things that we see, like Microsoft constantly up in the game in terms of capability through the platform, third parties, coming into the market, looking at AI and machine learning models, people like the fantastic work and partnership that Microsoft have announced with NVIDIA. It's all state-of-the-art, effectively, cutting edge, and businesses are now starting to incorporate those emerging technologies into their IoT strategy, which is great to see because, there's over the years, certainly in IT, it's been one of those things, it's a general thing that you you don't implement version 1, but effectively, maybe it's not version 1, but you're starting to see that the mind shift of technical capability that's available out there and how businesses now seem to be adopting that and those emerging technologies, which is cool to see. So it makes me think there's a lot of drive towards innovation, which is going to be great over the next few years, and really looking forward to that. Personally, I want to play a part in that, so it's going to be great to see. So go and check that out. I think I've just lost my book of news. Oh, there it is. So migration. So AMP, the AMMP program, has expanded its coverage area to cover a few different. So AMP, I believe, is pretty much related to the partner land. Customers can hook into AMP as well, of course, to get that assistance, and they've expanded it to cover security, hybrid, Azure Arc, and app modernization, and SAP, so SAP as well. So that's cool to see another 4 areas that the AMMP program is going to be catering for. Cool to see. Mixed reality, HoloLens 2 promotional offer. Ooh, I might have to take that. What have we got? A 15% discount through a limited time promotional offer. Ooh, right. I'll have a little look at that after this video. I mean, how could you have missed? You couldn't have missed introducing the mesh for Microsoft Teams. Brilliant. If you didn't spot that, go and take a look at one of the keynotes in terms of what Microsoft Mesh is enabling people to do with Teams now. It's that kind of avatar-based concept, and go and take a look. Google it. Go and have a little look-see. But it's great to see that it's taken the next leap into the world of this metaverse, this meta world that we're talking about, that people, we all seem to be heading towards. So that 2D, 3D experience that's all there, bubbling under the surface, that we're now going to start using, no doubt, in our daily lives fairly soon. Azure networking. Again, I'm not going to jump on these, but one of the prevalent ones that caught my eye was the Virtual Network Manager has gone into a preview. So with Azure Virtual Network Manager, customers can easily manage their virtual networks across subscriptions while scaling cloud-based workloads. So the configuration feature of Azure Virtual Network Manager can help create complex virtual network topologies like Mesh and Hub, Mesh and Hub and Spoke in just a few clicks. So security features can also help customers create administrator rules to enforce organizational level security policies. And again, it's great to see these initiatives and these things scaling out in Azure. So I think from a networking point of view, things like ExpressRoute now includes IPv6. I think I covered that one last week. That got announced. Azure Network Function Manager now generally available, and Gateway Load Balancer enables insertion of third-party NVAs into a network path. So it's great to see that a Gateway Load Balancer is now enabling third parties to use their own kind of NVAs, which is cool to see. And then finally, Azure Resilience. So there's this announcement around Azure Chaos Studio to help kind of simulate those real-world outages. So, you may have heard that certainly in the world of DevOps, there is this concept that you build into your testing platforms, kind of chaos engineering, where effectively you set up a whole bunch of parameters that will test your infrastructure, test your platforms and the things that you've got set up without you knowing what it's going to test, by throwing a loaded bomb into your environment effectively and blowing something up, within the parameters that you define, of course. But this Chaos Studio gives the ability for customers to kind of, like it says there, disrupt their applications intentionally to see if, rightly or wrongly, you can break them. I mean, ideally, if you've architected it and deployed your applications in a highly available and a kind of disaster recovery capable capacity, then this should really be bulletproof. And this is the point of this tool. So interested to see that, and I'm interested to see dig into it and start having a look at the kind of things that you can do. It's in preview at the moment. We can click here and learn more about this particular update. Again, it's another blog article there with some instruction on how we can use it. So I'm going to take a little look at that. So there we go. There is the Microsoft Ignite November book of news in about, 15 minutes. I know this video is a little bit longer than usual. Hopefully you've got a lot out of it. So yes, it just brings me finally to say thank you for watching. Like I say, hope you have got something out of these videos. Please do comment, like, subscribe below, click that little bell notification when there's more content going live. You will be notified. But that's been great. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Hope you all have a fantastic weekend and a great week ahead. Until next week, I've been John Lund. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you all soon.